Hi, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about or respond to a question that one member of our community posed about how do we as projectors release foreign energy from our fields or allow ourselves to release energy so that we are not taking on and holding on to the emotions and the attitudes of others. So the question was, I'm a 6'2" splenic projector and I'm very affected by people's negative attitudes. And sometimes I stay under the influence for days. How can I protect myself against this? So, the first thing to really look at with that is this: human design is a mechanical system. So, energetically, in real terms, mechanically, once you leave the aura of somebody, so okay, let's go back one step. Usually when we are open in our emotional solar plexus, we are amplifying the emotional energy that's coming out. So if you're in a space and you go into a room and you realize that the energy is suddenly you're starting to feel, if you're with a client or if you're in your own house and you suddenly start to feel either unhappy or depressed or a bit annoyed, and you recognize that this is a shift and an emotional shift, what you can do is stop, pause, and this is why it's important to develop the witnessing observer and go, okay, I notice that I'm starting to feel this emotion or this energy, and you leave the auric space so you can actually step away from where these people are, and that should be able to release the energy or release the emotion that you're feeling. That's when you can actually tune in and see, okay, is this my energy or is this somebody else's energy? So that's on a mechanical level. Another piece of advice that I give to projectors to actually come into their own energy field is to actually go into a place where they can be alone in your own room or a sanctuary or somewhere that you have, and lie down flat and discharge the external energies that you've been engaging with all day. But the question is interesting because the question says that sometimes I'm affected and influenced by negativity for days on end. So there's a level to this question that I want to now address. And that is, this is about really doing some ego work and observing how your mind is identifying and attaching and creating meaning that you then hold on to. So one of the things that I like to teach it's about developing a witness observer. So as soon as you start your deconditioning journey, the foundation to really all of it is learning how to observe the mind and start to develop what I call the neutral observer or a witness mind. So, like you've just said, I notice that I feel that I've identified and attached to this feeling for days. That's a point of awareness. And so when it happens, you can go, okay, I now have a choice. I have a choice to come into my circle of influence, to the things that I can control, and I can and let go of the things that I can't control. So what can I control in this moment? Oh, okay, I can control my emotional response to the negativity that I found myself in. You could also, at this point, say, okay, let me investigate a little bit further and let me see why I'm being triggered. So, what is it that's making me blame the outside rather than taking on that 100% responsibility for myself? So, rather than looking outwards, you can get very, very curious and then you can say, okay, well, am I is it something I need to look at within myself, basically? So those are a couple of ways that we could look at that. The third thing to do is practical, and it's to remove. You can literally use a tapping process to release energy. Okay. So if you've done your ego work or you've done some investigation, you've done some journaling and you haven't been able to discharge that, you can do some tapping. You can say, oh, even though I'm feeling really annoyed and really angry because blah, blah was in my space and they projected all this rage towards me and I've taken it on as my own, I love and accept myself deeply and completely. Even though I'm feeling really annoyed and really fed up with blah, blah, because they were so negative and now I'm just feeling really angry myself. I love and accept myself deeply and completely. I choose to accept that I'm feeling really negative. I choose to accept that I feel really angry. So whatever the emotion is, you go through it. You accept that this is how you're feeling and you go through a round. And then you do it, and then you actually go through it and you say, actually, well, now I choose to detach. I now choose to detach from feeling other people's energies and feeling angry about this thing. It's not mine. I release it. I allow myself. It's safe for me. And you go around and you do the whole thing. And it's safe for me to detach. It's safe for me to detach from this. Da 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 da. And you go around. And then I now choose to feel. I now choose to feel at peace. I now choose to feel at ease. So this is a very practical tool that you can use to actually discharge and move that energy. So that's one thing. But there are multiple ways that I actually teach projectors to work consciously with energy, to release foreign energy from their fields. And that's just one. I have many ways that I could actually help you. And so if you're interested in having a more in-depth conversation and some more practical tools around that, just reach out and book a session. But for now, I think that if there's any more questions, just post them in the comments and I'll respond.